It's getting us going. We'll see when it comes up over here too. Redirecting.
Says it's live here.
Does it?
Uh-huh.
Here we, oh, yay. Awesome. Hello, everybody. Let me get Betsy back. Happy New Year. This is our first New Year's live show from Listen, Learn, and Leverage. This is where we're going to illuminate your blind spots and help you grow your entrepreneurial business. Yeah, I did say that right. Today we have Betsy Clark, our mindset chaplain. And so I just want to start by saying thank you, Betsy, for being on.
Are you kidding? What a joy. The maiden voyage. What an honor. Thank you, Tricia.
I know. Well, I figured who else better to talk to than the mindset chaplain. And so we want to go crazy with this because many of you know Betsy and I know each other very well. So this may very well run off the rails. But first, I do want to ask, Betsy, tell us how you became a coach and what guiding properties really move your coaching forward.
First off, hey, Tricia, it is so good to see you. I've missed you. This isolation thing isn't working for me. So you're just filling my screen, and I'm so grateful to have this time with you and the people that are going to listen. I've always been a coach. And I started coaching in 1978. I bought a weight loss business, and it was a franchise. And it was called Diet Center before there was a weight loss industry. And I had just gotten out of college. I was 23 years old. I did not know what I was doing. And I was coaching women how to lose weight. And I kept trying to get the other franchise owners in the city to collaborate, because I think there's something really powerful about the collaborative wisdom of women.
Yes.
And so they kept saying, no, you're price fixing, you're doing this, you're doing that. And I'm thinking, I don't want to do this alone. It's so much more fun to be on a team and collaborate.
Exactly.
And back then, there was no internet. Gasp. How can that be? I know. I know. Isn't that hard to imagine? And
I can't, yeah.
Well, and people didn't, most women didn't think about getting an MBA. And so how we learned business was we either taught belly to belly, or we learned it through books. And those books were written by men for men.
Yep.
Now, I am not man bashing. I am married to one. I birthed one. I love men. But have you noticed that men and women, for the most part, do business differently?
Completely. It is wild.
Right. So the guiding principle for me, whether I've been a color coach, I was working in interior design for 35 years with my husband, or weight loss coaching or mindset coaching, whatever it is, I really want to be the coach I needed when I was 23 years old.
Ooh, I really like that.
Interesting. It's the truth. And so, how can we come in open and coachable in all the things of life? I'm in my mid-60s. I still want to be coachable. I still want to learn. I don't know everything. I want to come into a community that's community oriented, as opposed to this celebrity approach where I'm the coach and I know it all. Well, it's not true. So how do we create community in an environment where people long to learn, and it's safe to grow? It's safe to practice. It's safe to learn. So in a nutshell, that's my philosophy for coaching. We need each other. We need each other.
Absolutely. You know what? And I make it no secret that I have worked with you many times. I even have my last workings with you here.
Yay.
And I look at these, and they are going into all my marketing this year, because it is the power of who I am. And I love how we together really honed in on that. And it's so powerful to understand your strengths. And so before I get going any further, explain the mindset chaplain.
Mindset chaplain. Okay, so I I don't want to be someone's coach because then I'm it. I'm all that in a bag of chips, all that sort of stuff. I want to be collaborative. I want you to be in the driver's seat and I want to be the co-pilot. I want to be going,
Ah,
these are your goals. This is what you said. Here's your map. I'm just going to remind you, don't take do a U-turn. I mean, you and I have driven in Denver enough where we have laughed up like, we just went, so we need each other when we're driving in Denver. We need each other when we're driving in our business. And so where does the chaplaincy piece come to that? I love working with women who are spiritually aware. And I think that when we can marry our head to our heart, we
mm,
come to business way more integrated than if we're just in our head or we're just
I
feeling
agree.
our way through. And there's a great modality called bank, and I love how bank works. It
Mhm.
really speaks to how do you integrate all of that so that you come wholeheartedly. And
Right.
so for me as a chaplain, I think that people suffer in business. I think people suffer in life. And how you do anything is how you do everything. And so if we can
Yes.
come in integrated, true to who we are, undivided, not divided, like I got to be this way in business, I got to be this way at home, to be undivided
Right.
and to be integrated. That to me is what being a mindset chaplain is, because your mindset matters.
Man, does it. It's funny to me, it's like the first thing you need to attack. And then when you and I talk about it, I find out that most people really don't want to start there. But that's like the foundation of everything is your noggin.
Our fear lives between our ears. And
It does.
the truth is, do you want to be run by fear or do you want to be
Mm.
run by hope? John Gordon has this
Oh,
great question. What do faith and fear have in common? And I use the word hope um, because if you're not a woman of faith or spiritually, you miss this whole thing.
right.
But the issue is hope says that things will turn out well. That's what hope does. It forecasts and it says, I believe that things will work out well. But fear
Absolutely.
and faith are similar in the fact that they both believe in a future that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So are you forecasting doom and gloom? That's fear. I
Yeah.
could get wrapped around the axle just meditating on fear, or I could
Oh,
say, you know what, I think this will work out for the best. I may not like it right now. No one likes to be disciplined.
right.
No one likes to be disciplined, but there are things in life where we have to learn, we have to be disciplined, and knowing that that's going to form and forge within us a depth of character that we need for the things to come. So for me, that's what hope is.
Yeah.
And I don't really like the best is yet to come, because then it's kind of negates where you are right now. It's the present. I
Right.
can only live in the present. So
It's so true.
I love thinking about things will turn out for the best, and it allows me to be present right here, right now,
Right. Exactly.
instead of
And
always
as
thinking the best is coming, because this
of
kind of sucks, but the best is coming.
like, can't we celebrate right now? And what's funny
Bingo.
is and as women, we just need to celebrate those little wins. I mean, just like, I'm so excited. I freaking love this Pellegrino that they sell at Costco, right? This actually makes me happy. I dig it. This one's the tangerine and wild strawberry. It's a small thing, but why not? Like, just this is awesome. And I'm so blessed that I can have it in my house. And I know that is tiny, but still, like, why aren't we celebrating our little wins? Like when we reach a goal in our monthly revenue, or when we get the client that we've been after for 3 years. It's like we really need to sit down and do more of that. And as women, what do you think it is that we just, it's like, oh, check, okay, that's great, and then we just move on? What do you think
Because
that is?
we got a slug of stuff going on in our life. Have you noticed? we're we're
Yeah,
we're busy. We're busy and we're on to the next thing. And
right.
one of the things that you and I do well is we celebrate. And honestly, big goals are made up of very small, small things that work out well.
Yes.
And so they compound over time. And the big things of life are made up of little components. It's the little
Yeah,
habits, it's the
right.
little wins, it's those kinds of things. See, here's the deal. Joy. What is joy? Oh, joy is that
Mm,
bubbling, effervescent Pellegrino inside kind of feeling. But how do we get joy, right? It's when
yeah,
we will stop and appreciate and value something. Like, okay, we're coming out of we're not going to talk about pandemic, but the truth of the matter is we've
yeah.
just come out of it, right? Well, one of the
Right.
ways that I realize I'm an extrovert, I need to hug people, I need to touch people,
Oh,
I need that belly to belly. And I couldn't do it
yes.
this year because of choices that my husband and I have made. We chose to
Yeah.
be more solitary than out in public. Well, one of the ways we dealt with it, like a lot of other people, is we got a cat and we got a puppy. And you know what? That puppy brings us so much
Oh
joy.
my
She had
gosh.
21 teeth taken out of her mouth because she had something when she was a little
That
puppy to
poor
rearrange
girl.
her teeth. Well,
Right.
she has her tongue and it just sort of hangs out of her mouth because there are no teeth to guide her tongue and she can't control her tongue. So she's running out in the back 40 with her tongue hanging out. Well, that brings me joy. I appreciate her winsomeness, her
Oh,
zest, her love, her of life. And
yeah.
that brings me joy. It's something I value and
Oh,
appreciate. And it brings me that Pellegrino bubbly on the inside. And that's what joy is.
totally. It is. And we have to pay closer attention to that because Ruthie has no idea she doesn't have teeth and she doesn't even care. She's just an effervescent little love bug.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
We got to do more of that. Like, I don't care that I don't have 21 teeth.
I mean,
Well,
really, really.
well, that's funny that you said that because we were talking before we started about playfulness. And this, I think, leads right into that really well. And I think after the year we've all had, I think we really all need to think about that. And like I was telling you yesterday, someone in my mastermind said, I just wanted to make jewelry. And it's not what she does. She just wanted a jewelry making class. And I think that we all need to go out and figure out how to be more playful. And I know you've got some ideas. Tell us.
Well, so I made my living for 35 years as an artist. And people who go, "Oh, well, you're an artist. It's the A word." I'm not an artist. I can't draw. Well,
Right.
I'm a word nerd and I like to nuance words. Well, you know what? Forget artist. You're a creative.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
as a coach, I don't work with my husband anymore. So my primary, and you'll get this because this is part of you, my primary art form is cooking.
Hmm.
And so when I was recovering from my hip surgery, you kept bringing food over to me. And it was
Yes,
like,
I
oh, this is my love language. Everybody's on to you now, T-Bone. I mean, like they're going to be saying, hey, Trisha, could you bring some food over to me? Sorry about
yes,
that.
I had a tooth
She's
extracted.
mine. She's mine. She cooks for me. But but it's that whole thing about creativity. So Stuart Brown has done a lot of research on play. And he has this question. He asks, what's the opposite of play? And what do most people say?
They say work.
They say work. Well, according to Stuart Brown's research, the opposite of play is depression.
Hmm.
That's sobering. So
Yeah,
how do we bring hope that things will turn out for the best? How do we bring playfulness into our everyday? Because how you do anything is how you do everything. How do we bring that
so true.
playfulness into life. Can I just read a quote that just staggers
Yeah,
me? It's
absolutely.
about burnout, because to me, burnout is, and I'm not a therapist, so I don't want to touch this depression thing, but I can talk about burnout. And so um,
Yeah.
this is a quote from a gentleman, and I'm trying to find his first name, but his last name is Freudenberger, and he talks about burnout. He was one of the ones who talked about burnout first, and he says, "A practicing psychoanalyst, I've come to realize that people, as well as buildings, sometimes burn out.
Hmm.
Under the strain of living in our complex world," and I would say 2020 was a complex year for a lot of us globally.
I would too.
So, under the strain of living in our complex world, their inner resources are consumed as if by fire, leaving a great emptiness inside. Although their outer shells may be more or less unchanged, only if you venture inside will you be struck by the full force of desolation. That, to
Huh.
me, is the other side of playfulness.
Yeah.
Some of us are burning out.
Ooh, yeah.
Some of us have lost our jobs. And I am not making light of any of that. There has been so much loss.
Oh my
But,
gosh.
other people, because they feel like they're not enough, have just been putting their nose to the grindstone in this time. And you know what? They're burning out, and they're ending up with is a pointy nose.
Yeah.
I don't want to put my nose to the grindstone and lose playfulness. And
Right.
I'm not
It's so
trying to be
true.
flippant about pointy noses, but I am trying to make a point that there has to be something to counterbalance all of this work
Exactly.
that we as entrepreneurs do, because we always feel like there's more to do. We haven't done enough. How do we turn it on?
Yeah. I know exactly. Well, and that's what I love about what Julie Miller Davis talks about is that you have to find that balance in play. Like in the summertime, she's still working, but she's playing golf, she's playing tennis, and in the winter she's doing her skiing. And what's interesting, and I wish I could remember the statistic. I just saw it yesterday. The British work 35 hours a week, whereas we work 47, but we're statistically not happier. We're not, and we don't even have that much more money, which is really interesting. It's like, why not balance your life with the things that you really want to do and work, because both of them can coexist.
Well, see, here's the thing: is you've said something really important. She isn't working golf. She isn't working tennis. She isn't going to sit down and pull out the Scrabble board and play
Uh-uh.
and work Scrabble with Joe, right?
I said play.
You said play. She plays golf. Here's the thing. I think we get confused about competition, and I speak a lot about comparison. That's my pet. My pet topic is comparison,
Yes.
and because we're always comparing ourselves and feel like we don't measure up. My husband, when I met him in college, he said the most profound thing. It had to have been profound that I'd still remember it 45 years later. He was a very good athlete. And I said, "So you're really a good athlete. How do you do that? I mean, you don't seem super competitive. I mean, you're so chill when you play." He was a really good tennis
He's so
player. He was a
chill.
really good baseball player, and he was so chill. I'm going, I'm so stinking intense and competitive and all that stuff. And he said, "You know who I compete against? Myself,
Yep.
only myself." I'm thinking, well, that's a novel concept.
Totally.
So what if we competed against ourselves? Like runners, they're always working towards their personal best, their
Right.
PPR, and so as entrepreneurs, what if we competed this month against last month's numbers?
Hmm.
And if you're not tracking your numbers, then I would question your commitment to business. I think
It's a very good point.
maybe you're just self-employed. You want to be self-employed or do you want to be a business? Because if you were
Business.
a business, you need to know what your numbers are. But
Right.
what if we reframed all of this instead of me competing against you? I mean, why would I do that? That's
That's no fun.
that's no fun. But if I
Mm.
looked at my numbers from last month and said, oh, you know what? I only called X amount of people. What if I increase that by 5% in January? What if in February I looked at my January numbers and said, oh, I'm just going to increase my calls by 5%, or maybe I'm going to complete my conversion and work on my skill sets, and my conversion rate increases by 5%. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? We get rid of
Mhm.
comparison, and we call ourselves to a commitment to excellence. And that's an inside job. And that
Totally.
to me is what mindset is all about. How do we reframe things?
Yeah. And you can. That's what's amazing. I'm a living testament of that. I just from the work that we've done together, I have better tools. I don't 911 you near as often. You know, I'm able to use the tools that you gave me and really rely on the strengths that I understand, you know, that I have, that I really understand. And it's just made such a huge difference. And so if you were talking to someone about well, actually, I guess I should talk about strengths. You are a certified Gallup strengths coach.
Yes, I am.
And so
Yes, I am.
tell us, what is that? Because it's done immense, it's just been so helpful for me, but tell others why that's so important.
Okay, you got an hour? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I want to show you this kaleidoscope because this is key to me being a mindset coach. When I first started, the very first um, business coach I ever hired used this analogy with me. And she said, Betsy, pretend you're looking through a kaleidoscope and look at all those colors and the symmetry, and take a snapshot with your brain, okay, with your mind's eye. And what does that picture look like, right? And so I would do that. And she
Right.
said, okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to take this end piece and I want you to turn it a quarter turn to the right. What happens? Well, the
Everything
picture,
changes.
the picture changes. Okay. All right, so play with me. There's that word play. Turn it back a quarter turn to the original spot. Well, you can't do that.
I mean, you can go back a quarter turn, but
You don't get the same picture because
mm-mm.
once the shift happens, the whole picture changes and you can't go back.
Yeah.
That's what a shift in your mindset will do. And you're thinking, well, wait, weren't we just talking about Gallup? Weren't we just talking about strengths? Yeah, we are. What if you would play with me for several weeks or several months, whether it's a foundational package, a VIP day, or a mastermind with me, or you want to hire me one on one? What if we reframed the view you have of yourself? Instead of saying, oh,
Mhm.
what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? I've been doing this for X amount. What's wrong with me? You know what? Forget it. This is stupid.
Yeah.
What if we changed the whole dynamic, the picture, the picture you have of yourself, and we went from your strengths? What's right with you? Now, I know we have
I love that phrase.
weaknesses, but let's put the emphasis
Sure.
on the right syllable and let's leverage your strengths and manage your weaknesses.
Exactly.
Wouldn't life be easier? I got to
Oh,
tell you, I think struggle is overrated.
yeah, I do too. I don't want to ever be on that struggle bus again.
Well, I mean, honestly, there are women who are addicted to struggle, man. I'm telling you, if
There
they
are.
don't have struggle, well, what's wrong with this picture? Well, maybe you just reframe it a little bit and try ease. You can always go back to a struggle if you want.
You can. But oh my God, yeah, the ease of like understand just the understanding of who you are and the biggest strengths you have. It really, for me, it helped with the mind monkeys, but it also helped me see where to take the business in ways that personified my strengths, that really, enhance them. And so that's what I think. I mean, really getting your mindset in order is first, but then once you can see and like just really be grateful for those strengths, that's where I see the propulsion. Is you're like, oh, and how can I use these to bring joy to others?
Right. It gives you
Yeah.
tracks to run on. It,
Yeah.
these aren't labels. They're constructive ways to move from where you are to where you want to go in a way that it increases engagement, ease, those kinds of things. Why do you keep fighting yourself when there's another way?
Yes. Totally. I know.
And so that's really, I've been doing strengths, I don't know, 7, 8 years. I
Wow.
love what it does, because here's the thing: we're always trying to differentiate ourselves in business. What makes you so unique? Well, Trisha, you and I have used the word essence for 5 years, 6 years. I mean,
Oh,
that's just
yeah.
been,
Still used it yesterday.
yeah, it's your word. It's you capture the essence of your clients, which differentiates
Yeah.
them from everybody else. You use images. I use words.
Yes.
Always trying to differentiate ourselves. And what I love about that is it's embracing and accepting, and it's grace filled for your competition. There's so many, you and
Yes.
I are in a networking group together, and there's so many coaches in that room, month after month after month.
There.
And I stand up there and say, if you don't have a coach, all the coaches, raise your hands. Look around you. There's so many different coaches. There's enough for everybody. There's enough for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And if people just understood what you as a coach can do for them, I mean, they'd be lying. I mean, you'd be busy 24/7. I want people to get that. So you're that busy and coach. And then once they got their mindset, they can move on to whoever's next and whoever's next. And I mean, I found out in this last year that I was so blessed to have a coach, because that mastermind helped me grow my business, and they helped me, go through the motions of figuring out how to promote things. And I mean, it really dawned on me. There have been so many good things in this last year. I keep reminding myself of that I had a team, I had those people there, and they made the difference in me feeling alone or not alone. And it was awesome. And so having a mindset chaplain, oh, never a bad thing, because you just trying to do business. We don't do business alone. That's why we have a tribe of amazing people in our lives, and no one
Right.
should.
Well, here's the thing: is we can't see our own eyebrows.
It's true.
Really? I mean, so we need someone else to put the mirror to her face and reflect back what they see. And
Oh,
so
completely.
I think that's really, really important. And I would say, if anybody is listening and they're a solopreneur and they're trying to
Mm,
do it all by themselves, the first thing they think is, well, I can't hire so and so. I can't hire a coach because it costs too much. I can't hire a VA because, it costs so much. And, I can't hire somebody to do my social media. Are you kidding me? But what happens is we start dipping our toe into arenas we have no business dipping our toe into.
oh,
And it
right.
takes us, we use so many of our resources doing the thing we are not designed to do, resources of
Right.
time, energy, and money. If you
Right.
want to have a bigger impact, You have to hire people.
You do.
And so,
Yeah.
yes, it does cost money to hire
It does.
someone. But if you'll stay in your area of expertise and you hire people who stay in their area of expertise, you elevate your business and your impact
Oh,
significantly.
oh, it's
And
so significant.
yeah, and I mean, it seems counterintuitive. Well, if I want to make more money, I have to keep more money. I want to challenge that.
Me too. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Once things started going well last year, I did hire a VA and I started giving more money away to charities and to people who needed it. And I I believe, like, I just know in my heart and soul that that was a big reason why things changed for me, because I believe giving of your knowledge, giving of your money, boots on the ground type charity, all of it just enhances everything about you.
Well, it's a shift in the mindset. Instead of it's all mine, I'm going to keep it, you come open-handedly. And that's really, you and I have talked about what power with grace is. And power is purposeful. It's open-handed. It's worthwhile. It's effective. Resolve. What if we tapped into that definition of what power is, and we did it with grace? I think women could stand up on the inside and be way more courageous and bolder than they have been in years past. Did we freeze? Looks like I'm the host. Well, I'm the hostess with the mostest, and it's just me now. So, one of the things that I love to talk about is grace, is how to give ourselves grace. And it's the power to love, accept, and to forgive yourself. And one of the definitions of forgiveness that I absolutely love that Richard Rohr talks about is letting go of the past you wish you'd had. And so, how do we give ourselves grace of where we were last year and where do we want to go this year? And when we marry grace with power, I think it makes a huge impact. Hold on just a second. I think Trisha is trying to get back on. So grace is a big deal. So if you are not where you want to be, I would ask that you would give yourself a grace card, but it's not really a grace card to be an excuse card. It's a place to say, okay, this is where I was. This is where I am. This is where I want to go. It's giving yourself a context and perspective on how to be true to who you are. This is where you are, being present. Where do you want to go? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that translated, if we lost the feed on
We lost
Facebook
something for a minute.
while you
Internet.
disappeared, but I just kept talking.
Well, that's okay, because I'm glad. Yeah,
What a
for my
shock.
internet, yeah, my internet decided to do something wonky. And so, but I'm glad you did. Yes, absolutely. Well, so to wrap up, I want to talk about, you've got something new coming up called a play shop. We've never heard anything like that. Let's talk
Don't,
about that.
don't you love that? Don't you love, I
Yes.
mean, like, I, I don't know. I'm pretty tired of being pitched to and, join this workshop or I'm like,
Right.
wait, if I've got a free weekend, why do I want to work when I just worked all week?
Right.
So I'm doing a play shop for 3 hours. It's free. It's a complimentary. Come on, girls. Let's have a party. let's get together. Let's have a play shop. Let's connect. Let's get things in perspective. And it's going to be on February 13th from 10 to 1 Mountain Standard Time. And it's called Bounce Back with Hope and Play. And so we've touched on a little bit of this today. I'd really like to amplify that. And we are going to have fun. We're going to have times of playfulness. We're going to talk about hope. What are we setting in place now? What do we want to put in motion so that the future is full of hope? And so
Agreed.
we're going to do that for 3 hours. It's going to be a party. It's just going to be fun. Bring your friends, and we'll have more information in about a week. So if they
Gotcha.
want, you can go to my Facebook page,
Oh, yeah.
Betsy Clark LLC, and there'll be more information on that, or they can reach out to you and you can just forward it on. But it's going to
Absolutely.
be really, really fun. It's going to be
Oh, yeah.
virtual, obviously.
I
And
don't know.
so if you're interested in having more play and
Who isn't?
embracing that you might be a creative versus an artist, I mean, that just changes everything. All of a
It
sudden, dinner
does.
becomes fun because
It
you realize
does.
you're creative. You throw pomegranate seeds on your salad instead of just plain old lettuce. You know what I'm saying? How do we come at life with that whimsy, with that whimsical sense of fun and creativity and innovation?
Right.
I mean, doesn't that just sound like a blast?
Yes, it does. I just put it on my calendar.
Perfect. Perfect. We're gonna have a blast. And obviously I am committed to helping women grow
Yes.
personally and in their business. I really am. But
Mhm.
if it's not fun, I probably have another priority going on.
You're like, peace out.
Right, right. So, so that's the invitation. If you
Awesome.
want to get really, really hardcore and all that sort of stuff and really buckle down, I have an offering of an accountability journal so that you can learn some of the
Oh, yeah.
steps, skill sets to hold yourself accountable. And so, I've got the more business approach of here's accountability, this is how you do it. And we've got the playful side of it. So for me, that's me living out being a mindset chaplain.
Absolutely.
One is using your head, the other is using your heart. How do we marry those both? How about if the intention for 2021 is follow your heart and use your head?
I love that.
Yeah.
It always works out better when you follow your heart. Just always
And
does.
use your head. I mean,
Yeah.
don't leave your head behind.
Don't.
That would be ugly. But
That'd be rough. That's funny.
so
You crack
that's
me up.
sort of my take of how
That's awesome,
to
Betsy.
go into 2021. My word for the year is being curious. So
I like it.
my word is curiosity. How do we
Awesome.
go through life with curiosity, specifically this year? I mean, doesn't that just kind of like, what? Wait, what? What?
Yeah,
Doesn't that graduate? Wait,
it
what?
does.
You got my interest. What's that mean?
Exactly. Like, well, it does. It makes me think about, ooh, what can I be curious about? And we kind of talked about, well, we talked about it earlier that it's like, oh, well, what are the things I really want to do? And why don't I look into those? I'm really curious about this class or this event. Or, I mean, there's all kinds of, we just need to get more curious about the things that we can be in play.
So I just went through my closet and I talked with my friend for 2 hours on the phone. I wanted to declutter. And we were
Yeah.
joking and say, put it to your chest. Does it bring you joy? Well, what are the things that you could incorporate as we
Mhm.
start working this next year to a level of more connection and normalcy, whatever that means?
Right.
But what are the things that will spark joy for
Yeah.
you this coming year? Could you get curious? Could you write a list of 10 things and then,
Ooh.
talk about that with a friend?
Yeah.
It's like your friend who's taking the jewelry class.
Yes.
That
Isn't that
took a
cool?
couple of other people to come and give her permission and validate, yes, this is a great idea.
Yeah. And it was just totally something she doesn't do. And I think it's fantastic. And it started, it's funny that we started talking about that today because I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, now I've heard it twice. So I'm sure I'm going to start hearing it even more. It's like, yeah, I want to find the things that bring me joy outside of my work. And this is the year to do it. I mean, every year should be the year.
Every year could be the year
Could
if
be,
you
could be.
choose. If you choose, here's the thing about what your friend has done. She's probably going to have a stinky first draft. Annie Lamott talks about it, and she uses a different word. And when you're creative, it's messy.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're perfect, you can't get it wrong. It has to be right. When we're creative, we don't have to have it right. It's the
No,
process. That's the deal. It's the process of
it is.
creativity versus the end result. I mean, have you ever heard someone sing and they can't carry a note in a bucket? I have a
Yes.
family member like that. And this individual sings like their life depends on it. And sometimes it's like, oh, but watching this person, the joy they get out of
There's that.
or
Exuding that.
people who dance who don't have a lick of rhythm,
I know, yes.
but I look at them and go, oh God, love you. I love watching you're enjoying in
Yes,
this moment. And it's so good. What if
that's
we could
funny.
shift? Instead of being perfect, we just go for joy in the process.
That's genius. Yeah, it's so true. Let's just have some joy in the process. I
Yeah.
love that.
What would your day look like? It would be very different. What would your week or your month or your year look like? It'd be very
So
different.
true. It really would. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Betsy. I'm so excited you were on today. I'm sure you
I,
gave a lot of people playful joy and all the other exciting words.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope
I
so.
think
Thank you for
so.
having me on. It's I just appreciate you and
Oh my
what a
God.
what a fun way to start the year off.
I know. I appreciate you too. And so we're going to sign off. We did get some people that said hello to us. We didn't get any questions. Shame on them. Just kidding. So anyway, I've got all of Betsy's information in the chat. And so when you actually get your URL for the Play Fest,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Play Shop,
Yep.
then send that to me. I'll put that in there too.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Of course.
Mwah.
All right.
Love you, Bets. All
Love
right.
you.
We will talk soon.
Bye.